yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Un saluto a tutti.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel locked in on everything Juventus. All right, Alberto. Obviously, you can see usual suspects so far early this mercado with Trim and Omer here, fellas. How you doing, Omer? How's it going, brother?
All good, all good. Relatively quiet week with everything around Juve. The main focus is sales right now. So yeah, we'll probably discuss that a lot. But either way, I'm great and pretty excited. And for Spain, my team, ride and die.
Let's leave the Spanish out of this thing. Trim, how you doing?
Pretty
Germany
good, pretty
we'll
good.
talk
It's a
about.
nice hot morning here in Toronto. Can't complain. Weather's nice. If it's as hot as it's been in the group chat lately with all these rumors swirling and opinions getting heated, I'm sure
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
trickle into this live today. So I'm pretty excited.
Things are
Looking
getting
forward to it.
heated. We love it though. We wouldn't have it any other way. The difference of opinion is exactly what we're all about and what we thrive on. The discussion is amazing, and there is some cause for concern. Everyone can see it in the header there. Cause for concern in attack, and a lot of rumors circulating around that. And yeah, the Mercado's kind of not really stalled out a bit for Juve, but now we are at the point that, yeah, we need to really organize the domino effect, so to speak, because each and every move right now will directly affect the next, all right? And we're about to tackle it all. And yes, we are going to kick things off with the attack and the rumors mainly around Sule Whatnot. But first, we do have a little bit of housekeeping, all right? So reminder, the chat is talking about, obviously, the members chat. That's a way to support the channel, okay? So you got to be on a desktop to do it, but join the AJC Army. If you were one that was gifted a membership or you have one, reach out so we could plug you into the chat, okay? Then there's obviously the merch, and we've got promos ongoing all the time, all right? New designs out there, so check it out. And then, of course, simply just sharing the content and helping us grow the AJC Army, all right? Now, some other housekeeping. I gotta give a shout out to the latest Juventus official fan club, and that is in Montreal. So my boy James Lapierre left Vancouver. We're going to miss him out here, but he wasted no time in firing up one in Montreal. So for all our brothers out there and sisters, join the Montreal official fan club, all right? And reach out to me if you need help coming in contact with James and company, all right? Now, the rest is howdy to the AJC Army, all right? Let's see. Dragons88, hi, everyone. Good morning, lads, from Matteo Camisa here. Let's go, everybody. Let's time to dive into this. Number one, I put the poll question out immediately, and it's, should Juve keep Sule? Well, it's not even close right now. It's at 90% yes to keep Sule, all right? So we are going to kick things off talking about this. And before we even get into the latest round of rumors and tackle the timeline, so to speak, let's talk about, are we okay right off the bat with him moving? Because for a while there, I know Omer and myself, I got to get Trim's take on this. But are you okay with moving Sule just as it stands? Let's just leave the outliers out of it, but just, are you okay with selling Sule just in a vacuum? Are you okay with moving Sule?
No, this is tough. Without thinking of any other factors, I personally would like to keep him because I want to see a full season of Sule at Juve. I don't feel that he got enough of a look with Allegri before leaving last year on loan. So 2 seasons back, he got some game time, but he didn't play a lot. And then he went on the season-long loan at Frosinone. We know what he did there. People would argue a lot of his goals were PKs, but still, he played fairly well on a lower bottom tier team. So I'd like to see him stay for at least a season. That's just in a vacuum, not thinking of any other external factor.
Okay. And Omer, Are you still? We were always okay with selling Sule. Are you still okay with selling Sule?
Yeah, I'm still there. Apparently, he has more value than Chiesa. I don't know how, but that's how the market works. And it's just another piece of the domino. I mean, I need to see the effect once we sell him. What do we get in return? What's the money he's used for? So I'm like, well, I'm like Trim. I'm on the fence. I want to see him at Juve. I think he can do great things under Motta. But if Motta really wanted him, he would have told Giuntoli no. That's a
Yeah,
guy I want to keep. So there is a plan. Something is going to happen based off his sale, and I'm waiting to see what it is.
I'm. So I've always been sell Sule, take that money while you got it, and let's move because of where the club's at, and obviously just strengthening, bolstering the squad. But I'm going to be 100% honest because I'd be lying if I said I wasn't starting to get concerned right now with the way things are shaping up. The little situation around Chiesa that we don't really know about, the list of options in attack, because the first move right now will go towards who? Coop Miners.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much evident, right? We're looking to wrap up Coop Miners immediately, and that's pretty steady amongst all the journalists. First move, big move, funds Coop Miners. So the issue there is you still don't know 100% what is going on with Fede Chiesa. Now you add into it the whole Sancho thing, which is interesting. Because the Sancho thing was always the relationship more than anything. Man U doesn't have to sell. They don't have to sell. So with him and this whole relationship thing, I know that there are reports coming out after saying it doesn't change anything. And there are still some out there sticking to their guns saying Sancho has chosen Juve, Juve has chosen Sancho. But that's going to still be a difficult move. And that salary still going to have to get sorted out. So if you're telling me we're moving Chiesa and then picking up a guy on a higher salary, it's not adding up. Like something's going to have to give. So Sule, for me, even if we come to a point where, yes, we're okay selling him, I don't know if it should be the first sale. And I'm going to ask you guys, because if Huijsen does in fact have 10 clubs interested, like Mirko Di Natale said, push for his sale first. But many say they would not sell Huijsen. Something's going to have to give with one of these guys, right?
Well,
I don't see both
the best offers you'd get would be for the players you don't want to sell. Obviously, we started off with Bremer and Vlahovic, but the kicker here is if Sule is sold, I don't think Chiesa is leaving. I don't think he does. Mirko himself, in a podcast this week, said that he didn't get any confirmation for Motta not wanting Chiesa. It's more coming from Chiesa's side. Now, like this rumor has been circulating for a long time that the first thing Motta said was, I don't need Chiesa, you can sell him. But there's still no confirmation. A lot of journalists said that Chiesa is on his way out. I think he's going to stay. I don't know why. If I had to like put money on it, my guess is Chiesa doesn't leave eventually.
Well, and we got to clear, because there's a lot to the Miracle thing. And before he actually went on that pod, I think I put the text out there because I was talking to Miracle and you guys saw it. I don't know if I shared it with you. I specifically, and I said, was Chiesa offered a contract extension? Yes or no? Like, did you hear anything of the sort? The rumors of him not receiving anything from Juve's end. And he said from his gatherings, it's an economical disagreement. Okay, so it's all financial. And he said he was offered something equal to or lesser in value to where he currently is at. So that's kind of one of the things to to throw in there, because he didn't state that it's all coming from Chiesa's side. He just stated that it's financial, 100%. 100% financial. It always has been. It always will be. So this thing about Chiesa not receiving a renewal offer from Juve, I'm not buying it. But maybe, just maybe, did they lowball him? So do they in fact still want him out? Are they giving him the McKennie treatment or the Tech treatment? That's what nobody really knows. So still, I'm standing on the same kind of wavelength that I was 2 seconds ago with this Soulé thing. We might have to pump the brakes on him being the first sale. The whole thing too is you have a contradiction, somewhat of a contradiction right now, because Nico Schira yesterday said that Soulé has agreed to terms to 2029 with Leicester. Di Marzio states Soulé wants Roma, okay? And now and it's a little bit of a contradiction. And the reason it's not a full contradiction is because the two things can both exist. He could have terms agreed with Leicester if they wrap up a deal with Juve. He could also give his okay to Roma should they find a deal with Juve. I'll tell you right now, though, any club in Italy, I hope we give them the same treatment that we receive. And Roma, if you want Soulé, get out your fucking pocketbooks, sell whatever the hell you got to do, but you're getting the same treatment we get in Italy. You can pay up. There.
Yeah,
now,
the Roma thing is weird. I don't know where they're getting the money from. How much they asked for Tommy Abraham? 30 million, but offered 25 to Chiesa, or 20. That was the rumored numbers. Their market valuations are ludicrous, and I don't know where they have the money to buy it. They haven't sold anyone yet that generated any big money, so I'm not buying unless at least until they make a sale. I'm not buying the Roma leagues for either of those guys. They can't afford them right now.
Yeah,
but if they want Soulé, 50 million,
it doesn't matter. Same exact treatment. All right, I can't wait for the day Bologna wants somebody from Juve, anybody. And I don't even care. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, you know what? No. And I hope. And this is why I say, like, the league, what's good for the league? Well, no, everyone is looking out for themselves. And if nobody is going to give a shit about keeping talent in the league, etc., it doesn't need to all fall on us. At some point, we look at ourselves and we do the same thing. Roma, you want them? Pay up. And I don't see it happening. So Leicester, I would stick, and you guys know, I would stick with Schira. Di Marzio came back, had this like little good push, but he's had a couple things that are kind of out there. This Chiesa thing with the no renewal even being offered, and now all of a sudden, you know, the Roma thing, and he prefers there, but Schira says he's got the contract with Leicester. We've heard how Soulé has spoken about the Premier League. So you have this guy with Huijsen. This is what I'm saying. Huijsen should be our first sale. Agree?
Yeah, mainly because
Disagree.
the defense is stacked right now. Someone is going to be sold, possibly two. My guess would be Huijsen and Facundo Gonzalez loaned out, and maybe Rugani getting sold, and then Juve will sign someone, Todibo or whoever we're linked with. And yeah, we are thin in attack. We can. I mean, if he wants to sell him, he has a plan how to bolster the attack, but still, first name on the list would be someone from the defense because he's not going to get any minutes anyway.
Yeah. Trim, you agree? Should Huijsen end up being the first sale right now if we're looking at this thing as a domino effect?
Yeah, there's two factors for me. Number one, there's obviously clearly a ton of interest, so just put him out there and say, okay, highest bidder wins. And I've always felt good about Juve selling abroad as opposed to domestically. So even like in Soulé's case, I don't see them selling to anybody in Italy. I think it will be abroad, which will be best for us because the other clubs in Italy are doing the same to us. They're handcuffing us. So that's not factor number one. But number two, like Omer touched on, like we're really thin in attack. So I feel like by selling him, it kind of opens the door to see, okay, what kind of money are we bringing in? Once we secure Coop miners, then we have to solely focus, I feel like, on the attack because we need to sort some stuff out and figure things out, whether that's moving Chiesa if we can move him. If he's got absolutely no market out there and no teams are interested, then we have to strongly consider Sule. Obviously, we have a team or two who are interested in Matthias Sule. So, like I said, it's start with, like you said, start with Huijsen and then go from there. But in the attack, like if we're selling one of our wingers, we potentially need to bring in two guys at the minimum, right? So if we sell both guys somehow, we let both guys go, then we need to bring in a few guys. So I don't know what Junteli's got up his sleeve. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but at the same time, I have full trust in him. So that's why, like, you know, in our discussions in the group chat, like we were mentioning to a couple of the guys there, like clearly there's a plan. There's some kind of plan, and certain deals and certain sales will unlock doors to other potential moves that we have absolutely no idea about. So rather than reacting to every rumor that we hear right now of stuff that's potentially going to happen, I'd rather just sit with and stew in my nerves at first, and then just kind of see once stuff becomes official, it opens the doors, and we'll kind of put the pieces together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's kind of like I said, for me, it's got to be Huijsen. So Mark saying that we should try other avenues before deciding to sell Huijsen. What are we going to gain if we get 25 million for Huijsen? Nothing. Well, that isn't in fact true, because we would gain almost pure profit on the move. First off, it finalizes a big move, which in my opinion, I stand firm here, has to happen. Signing Coop has to happen. There's been a lot of talk and discussion about Junteli, all right? And so far, a lot still unimpressed, not thinking he's doing anything, etc. And not locking up Coop would actually be a fail, in my opinion. That would be a knock on him this Mercado, because the player wants us. I get it, the price is high, but the price makes sense. We've gone through that in past shows. The price does make sense. Not landing Coop would be a knock against Junteli for me. So Huijsen, yes. Facundo Gonzalez is a name, as we get to camp later on, that gives me that freedom in moving Huijsen. I don't see Huijsen stepping into this team this season. I don't see him. Like, we have Jallo, carries all the same characteristics. Some people feel like there's skepticism there. If there's skepticism with Jallo, there's skepticism with Huijsen. As far as Huijsen goes, he's always seemed to be distant as well. So it's kind of like this thing to, yeah, let's wrap that up. But I also challenge it with the whole theme of the show. Losing Sule is starting to become a little more worrying than losing Huijsen. And that's where I'm kind of at right now. It still comes back to the attack. You know? That's what it's coming back to, is the attack being thin. Omer pointed, the defense is not. And the names, Sancho, okay, we've come to terms like that would be okay. We would deal with Sancho coming in. Outside of that, you're taking stabs. Francisco Conceição, the latest name, okay, I'd be fine with that too. But again, it still would leave us overall light. Our attack as it stands, Chiesa, Yildiz, Milik, Vlahovic, Sule. That's it. Some want to throw Adzic in there. More of an attacking midfielder, has played left wing. Guys, that's pretty skinny. Right?
I believe someone will be pulled from NextGen or the U23 regardless, just to fill in the void. Maybe there are some players there that Motta likes, but yeah, we definitely need to add some more names to the attack. I don't get the thing with Huijsen. I'm sorry. I get that he's talented. Personally, I have yet to see him play enough to say to myself, yeah, this guy, we should keep him at all costs, because that's a once in a generation talent. Yeah, he's a good defender. He has a high ceiling, but is he like non-Sitoka? Is it really, or is it hope that he will become one day something more than what he actually is? Because his stint at Roma was fine. wasn't anything special. I don't get why he just every other name except Hoy should be sold.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm seeing. Sule, yeah, like you said, it becomes a problem if he leaves. We're very thin in attack. I don't know how Motta is planning on playing. Maybe he doesn't bank on wingers that much anyway, and he needs more midfielders. I have no idea.
It
But
it
they are thin.
it's going to be interesting to see what goes down, but yeah, like the attack's leaving a little bit to be questioned there. In terms of an alternative to Coop Miners, we were talking about this and saying, hey, that's a knock against Juntoli if he doesn't wrap this thing up. Agreement in place with the player. He wants to come. You need to sell. You've got a ton of guys that you can move. The dead weight, are we going to get stuck there? We have to wait and see. Goodmanson, though, if Coop doesn't come in, has been brought back up again. Completely different style players. Completely different style players.
But that's interesting because I like that alternative. If we end up with Goodmanson instead of Coop, I wouldn't say we lost here. Goodmanson is a good option in my opinion. Very good.
The rumors that came up about his, personal life battles that came up left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. And again, it's tough. It's really, really a difficult spot right now. I feel you can't miss on Coop right now. 100% can't miss. Trim, feel the same way?
100%. He's always been, even dating back to the Calafiore rumors, and at one point during one of the previous lives, like we were almost pretty much split, and at one point I felt like most of the fan base actually prioritized Calafiore over Coop. But I've always maintained Coop Miners is my number one target this summer, even before getting Louise and all of those rumors. So for me, he's the number one. If we miss out on him, what I will just add on that is, yeah, it's a miss, but it depends who the other guy is, his replacement would be. Goodmanson, prior to the personal issues and allegations that were out there, was definitely, like Omar said, slam dunk, easy, good secondary option. But I'm just afraid, like, what happened with those allegations and those rumors, I guess, because his name is starting to pop up again. So does that mean like he's been cleared of it? Like, I haven't even read up on that to know.
No, it's still ongoing in the background, but yeah, it's just been very, very quiet about it because the rumors all did kind of die down.
What I would say is, like, okay, obviously he'd be option number 2, and then a third option, which isn't, he's not as strong of a player as Coop, but we've always mentioned, and he's kind of just gone quiet, is Samardzic, right? And I mean, he's still there for the taking, but again, he would be a step down from Coop Miners. But if we ended up with Samardzic, I would be pretty happy still. Like, I would say, okay, it's, it's not our number one, but at least we got someone to fill that role, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I still stand firm. Coop's got to be a hit. Yeah. And you're at this point now.
Yeah.
Sort it out. And when we talk about the alternatives for the fans that want to stick with these young guys, your camp is already fired up. Okay. We're about a little over a week out from the guys that were at Euros with the Azzurri, etc., coming back and joining the club. Giuntoli's going to want to get that signing in. And that's why you're seeing the guys with the most interest being out there. Sule, Huijsen, etc. At this point, bring in your guy. He's been your guy the entire time. Find a way, get it done. You move outside of that. Because saying that you want to bring it up with the McKennies, the Szczesnys, etc., the Ruganis, that is going to take you a lot longer, and you're going to need to hit all of them to get to the finish line where you need to be with Coop. Mm-hmm. You got to move one of these guys. It makes a big improvement to the squad, but what I'm questioning right now is everything with Sule, because Chiesa has to be settled. And this is a difficult spot that Giuntoli's in. Because now, let's say the Sancho rumor is true. And by the way, Going back to the Hoyson thing, selling him first, 75% agree in the poll. Yes, he should be sold first, okay? But with Chiesa, okay, if the Sancho thing goes away, is the leverage moving back to Fede Chiesa in this whole situation with Juve? Is he starting to get more leverage the longer this thing drags out?
Or he might. I don't know yet. I mean, the Coop signing seems like it's just missing one sale to make it happen. Like whoever,
It needs a good,
doesn't
healthy
matter.
sale. It needs one of these young guys sold. Or
Yeah,
even Chiesa.
and we have yet to sell anyone that we didn't want to sell, and we were expecting a sale that we didn't want. One of the players leaving, so I don't get. We can't say about anyone yet. This guy's not for sale. This guy, someone has to be up for sale. It seems like it's Sule at the moment. If it is Sule, my guess is Chiesa's going to stay. But beyond that, I mean, the rumors about potential replacements for the wings have been pretty weak. Even the names suggested, aside from Sancho, have not been exciting, to say the least. I don't know what they're planning. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. We have a lot of other names that we need to sell in the roster. Still, Kostic is still here. McKennie, they all allegedly have been informed by Motta that they're not in his plans, and the club told them to find someone who would buy them. So yeah, like you said in the beginning, it's a domino. Like the first rock to fall will dictate where the Mercato goes, and we're kind of waiting for that to happen.
We have our friend Swarid here. Every time Fede comes up, we know his guts probably churn there as he's getting nervous with each day of the Mercado. Trim, do you think Fede is starting to gain leverage in the way it's shaping up?
It's hard to define it as leverage. What I would just say is it's becoming more and more plausible that he actually extends. Because if you look at it for what it is, if the player has little to no interest from other clubs, with his agent going around talking to other clubs just to kind of put feelers out there and see what's out there, his desire is to go abroad. There's little to no interest abroad. And if Juve isn't able to find suitors to take him, then you're kind of just stuck in square one. So he's got 1 year remaining. The club, from what we all interpret and think, is not willing to play him and go into this season on an expiring contract, which I don't know. I mean, I'm so used to seeing it in North American sports that like we've just become accustomed to it. But I know in football in general, like a Dybala situation, that was like a one-off thing, and everybody is still to this day talking about it. We can't do this. We can't have another Dybala situation. I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing, but I understand it's like a depreciating value of a player just sitting there, right? So to me, it's like all signs are actually pointing to him renewing if things stay the way it is, because like I said, it will end up being the best for both club and player. Kick the can down the road another year, go into a season where we hope he strives and succeeds and does well. So either he can earn himself a pay raise with us and he can stick around, or he can continue to say, you know what, my desire is not to stay at Juve long term, and I do want a sale, and it'll help him and the club get the sale in the end. So that's kind of how I see it. It's hard to say that he or the club has leverage, but based on the non-interest, it's just, to me, it's leaning more towards extension.
Look, there's also a possibility that he has an agreement with someone, and the way the market works right now, it's kind of different to what we got used to in the past few years. Even the Premier League clubs have come down a bit since Manchester City and Chelsea started getting investigated, and Everton. It seems like the Premier League have come down a bit. So no one's coming in spending. Everyone looking for either ending contracts, swap deals. That's what we're seeing all across the board. And like no one is overspending right now. That's why probably we didn't get any high offers right now for Chiesa or for Sule. Maybe he has an agreement with someone and is going to ride out the season and then go for free. That's also a path that a lot of players take.
As far as the leverage thing goes, it's funny to say that a guy that has like next to nothing for interest at a low price rate has leverage. But to be honest, if we're talking about how thin the attack is, it does get significantly thinner without him. And if all of a sudden Sancho goes away, yeah, like that's not looking good whatsoever. And I don't know if now we could put ourselves in that situation. As far as there being a renewal, I think the kicker here is going to be what goes down with Vlahovic. If Vlahovic doesn't budge, I don't think Chiesa is going to budge on wanting more and seeing himself as one of the top guys on the team. I also don't think Juntoli is going to budge, and we could very much see a season where he comes in and plays out his final year. As far as if there's anything beyond that for a renewal or anything, that's going to depend on what happened up until this point that nobody knows about in the relationship between Juntoli and Chiesa. It is definitely one to watch though, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. But as things start to shape up here and the names being largely overwhelming to the point where we're talking about Berardi again, I think Chiesa remaining, and this is a thing, like if we're going to get 10 million capital, if we're going to sell him for that, you could make the argument you use him for a year. You use him for a year, you consider it is what it is, and you look for the alternative moving on if there is no renewal there, and maybe you just bite the bullet and it is what it is. It's not like we're letting a guy that's obviously got little next to nothing for interest, so you're not letting a guy that's on 60 to 80 million euro value walk, right? You're a guy that's got one offer from Roma at 25 million. So maybe, yeah, you say, you know what? We keep him around and we go. But in that, how much desire, how much still comes through is questionable when you got a guy that knows there's no future there, etc. But he could also absolutely go nuts because he'll have a chip on his shoulder and he'll want that big contract, even if it's outside of Juve, right? So there's something to be said for keeping him on that and playing through it. And again, if the alternatives are not there, it's just not there. And we're going to take a little breather here because I can't believe my eyes, but there is actually, it's hilarious that they still have to jump in here and whatnot. Okay, this guy's got a calculator, still can't figure out, wants to talk about money. Where are we getting money from? Have fun with your 10 million euro budget for a defender. Yeah, don't come in here talking money. There. Okay, we cleaned up our debt. Have fun with your 900 million. Now, drop a like though. Okay, drop a like though. Now, I said I had a big announcement. There's also going to be a big announcement on this show a little bit later on, everybody, okay? So we will get to that. But Berardi, you guys, I'm still just... It would have to be extremely cheap, and he's not a main guy, okay? But it wouldn't be the way way things are shaping up. And like I said, twists and turns everywhere. It's not my preference. Him and El Shaarawy are not my preference, okay? In an absolute friggin' pinch where we could not find anybody at all, okay, we'll take it. But I'm still a no. You guys with the old Berardi or even El Shaarawy, etc.?
El Shaarawy, 100% no.
Okay.
And it was never a yes, never at any point of his career. And Berardi, I don't mind. As rotation, and we just said that our attack is missing a few players. If he's cheap, then fine. Yeah, I want him to come begging to Juve now that he's in Serie B. But in general, just having him in the roster, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Oh, all right. Trem?
Yeah, no, I don't know. El Shaarawy, no, definite no. Berardi, I have to maintain my stance and say no. As much as it would be nice, like as a rotational piece and maybe a very short term, like 1 or 2 year kind of deal, but I know he won't accept that. So I don't know. I would look for alternatives on Berardi, although I understand the draw, the fact that he's played in Serie A for as long as he has and he's done well. There's got to be something else out there. There's got to be something else out there.
And we got this coming on this whole discussion with the forwards and Chiesa. Obviously, letting a guy like Chiesa walk for free is asset mismanagement. Either extends or he leaves this summer. The issue here, though, my friend, is the power's in the hands of Chiesa because he has to accept. If he is only getting the offer coming from Roma, and obviously, naturally, that does not interest him in terms of leaving Juve to go to Roma, then what are we going to really do? And this is what makes me kind of laugh about the Giuntoli knocks, because some are knocking, and yeah, Justin, I'm calling you out, brother. Okay? I'm calling you out, brother. Some will knock Giuntoli for these, but I'm like, it's all speculation and rumors and whatnot, but without putting a gun to the guy's head and saying, take this deal, you need the players to agree, right? So it's a really challenging spot that they're in. And, Trim alluding to North American sports, it is not like that whatsoever. The teams own the rights and they move players, boom, 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 and it's done. Like, that's it. Teams are picking up the contracts, etc., and there you go. It's completely different in the world of football, and the players have the final say because they need to agree. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes down. There's Justin Abbey, bro. I did, man. Flat out. But look, with Giuntoli, I still stand firm. It's really clear for me, everybody. You go like this. Completed business, it's been good. It's been really good. The only knocks we're having are on stuff that is still largely speculation and rumors, etc. So let's judge on the final pieces and then see where we finish, okay? But for now, so far, so good, all right? In terms of these other guys, camp firing up, everybody getting fired up about all this and everything. We saw Moise Kean go. I don't know if that showcase was the best showcase for a player signing. Probably one of the worst I have ever seen. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me, guys? Are you kidding me? Giuntoli got 13 plus 3 million in bonus for this guy?
Yeah, I just saw a 2-year-old baby. Literally a 2-year-old baby, bins.
Picking those bins, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, Moise Kean, a professional footballer, couldn't get it off the ground, and this kid is like top bins every shot. That's embarrassing.
That was actually like so tough to watch. I was like, Jesus, man. They gave you the easiest thing to like. It's a massive, massive board. Just he couldn't get it 3 feet off the ground. What are you guys doing it? Unbelievable. But look, some were saying it's the shoes. He doesn't have the right shoes or whatever. Hey, okay, whatever you think. That looked brutal. Even if you're not trying whatever shoes, take them off for Christ's sake. That's embarrassing, man. That's actually embarrassing. But the camp firing up, a lot of good vibes. We've been talking about this almost every live show. The vibes have been awesome. Motta getting in there. But the training videos, I had to laugh because I've never seen a group so excited to watch training videos, and that just shows you how dire it's been for Juve that we are all salivating at friggin' training videos, okay? But that's what it's come to. And on the flip side, you got the photo of Sule makes me laugh, but literally looks like he's fighting for his life after one of the training sessions. On the flip side, you have Napoli players collapsing on the pitch with Conte, etc. But it's good. It's good to see, and I think I can't wait for the guys that haven't been there yet to get there and dive in, because no more vacation spot at Juve. Like, let's get down. I want these guys puking after training sessions and everything. But some of the cool things that stand out, the goalkeepers going through all the same training that all the players are. Pinsolio probably thinking, whoa, I didn't get the memo here, buddy. I play like 15 minutes at the end of every season here. I'm just the vibes guy on the bench. But no, man, you're running through the same drills. touching the ball just as much as like mids in there. I like it. It's cool to see. But your guys' thoughts on watching some of these videos in terms of what we're usually used to? How you guys feeling it? I enjoy it, but I'm not going crazy like everybody is over the training videos. But what do you guys think so far?
Yeah, I was psyched. Like the because I watched everyone we had like in the past 4 or 5 years, and you immediately see the difference. I mean, under Allegri, it was some hurdle running, and then some rondos, and a match where Allegri is the referee, and that's about it. And you immediately saw like it's a 5 minute video of training, and there wasn't one shot on goal.
Yeah.
Like let's go back to the basics: ball movement, off the ball movement, the stuff that Thiago Motta's plays build upon. And he started off immediately, and the players look exhausted. Good, that's what we need. We need to be able to play beyond 70 minutes. And if you wanna, how they say, roll with the big boys and play with the Real Madrids, you can turn it up in the 110th minute and look like they just started the match. You want to play with those guys, you got to be at their level, at least physically. So yeah, get Juve rolling. We have a lot of matches, and even at the Euros, the Bologna players arrived at the Euros at top fitness. The guys who play for Switzerland, Calafiori was the best outfield player for Italy. Everyone was horrible except for him. Like, that's what we need to see. And remember Evra talking about like Juve was actually a challenge compared to Man United. Somewhere along the line, we lost that. It wasn't there anymore. And we need to get that back on. That's part of the game right now.
The rondos we were watching last season, and like it was just painful. I'm like, that is so slow, like no flair, like just brutal. Just brutal. But Trim, what are you thinking so far this early on into camp?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see the team working hard, working up a sweat. Like, I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Matt Tersini. He put, first time in training, I see them doing ball control drills, and it's so true because with Max, it was just like, I don't know, it was Club Med, man. Like that's just what it seemed like last year, right? And so that's why it's hard to get excited when you're watching your team go through the motions, right? And so, like you said, I'm not going to put so much stock into it just yet, but the fact that it's high intensity. You see, I forget the gentleman's name, but it's Motta's like assistant, the French guy, and he's just going subito, subito, and he's like yelling at them, quick, quick, quick on their feet to see, like you said, the goalies going through the exact same training drills. Like they didn't even have the gloves on until they were actually taking shots against them and doing those, stopping drills, right? But like just seeing them, and I'm sure even for like a guy like Perrin, who you can imagine he's probably like, I never used to do this stuff. And now it's like a totally different philosophy where when he plays, he's going to have to be expected to come in and do the same role that Di Gregorio is going to be doing for the majority of the season, right? So like, it's what I would say is it's exciting. It's nice to see finally. And just, that's it. We'll leave it at that. It's not going to mean this is the difference between, finishing third and first, right?
And I like the symbolism of it all. Like, all for one, maximum participation shared amongst all members of the team. Like, I love that. I love that in essence, right? But again, it is training. It's early camp days and whatever. You take it for what it is, but it's fun. It's exciting. It's a breath of fresh air that we needed, but it does, hearing about the players struggling through the training sessions, the intensity of it, it does feel like this Juve rebirth kind of. And I think that's what's most refreshing because of how it seemed. It seemed like it was more of this show for socials than it actually was these guys getting better, improving, and fucking being able to ball on the pitch. So yeah, it feels like it's completely different. And
Sule, when he left to Frosinone, he immediately said, I didn't train this hard at Juve.
Everybody has. Everybody that has left for quite some time now has said, oh, the training, like, I remember De Ligt going to Bayern, and they were like, he's out of shape. I remember, like, Kulishevsky being like, oh, man, Conte's putting us through the ringer, like Kulu and Bentancur. Everybody has said that down the line, And I don't think it's coincidence that throughout the majority over these past 2 years for sure, our team has not looked like they could carry through a 90-minute match properly. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah. And it
You know?
will make them better players. That's the thing about it. They need to have that in their arsenal. They have a state of the art training facility to maximize everything. You saw the looks on Thuram, both of them actually, and Motta and his staff face when they saw the Juve facility. So you have everything you need here to succeed and be a good player, but you need to work, and you need to work hard, and that seems like Motta's mentality right now.
Yeah.
And I'm more here for it.
Justin saying, I don't think there is as much as a learning curve as everyone seems to think. And soft training equals weak and injured. We just got to wait. It's more so how certain players are going to adapt to their roles, as they will change significantly going from what we were doing under Max to what we're going to do for Motta. Like for me, a big question mark will be around Vlahovic and how he adapts to what Motta wants to see out of that position. However, Motta could also adapt and change things in how he utilizes his 10 role in order to assist with that. So it's going to be this big thing. And again, going back to this cause for concern in attack, a lot of the feelings are that the team could be incomplete by the end of the Mercato. It very well could be, because we're going to have to find good deals, good bargains. Like, it's not going to all be the big targets coming in. Like, something's going to have to give. Coaching influence is going to have to account for that. And if we're going in with what we seem is thin, it's going to be up for him to step it up. Can he do it? Well, hell, he had salad makers looking like a good player. You know, like, he could do it. He could do it. So let's see what happens. There is that leaves me feeling not as doom and gloom over how thin it could potentially be in attack, because I think we could see a lot from Motta. But some of the other things out of the camp we want to just address. Facundo Gonzalez, we brought up earlier. I said the entire time we can't lose both him and Huijsen, because Facundo Gonzalez, having him in the ranks for me, is crucial. The quick scouting report for those unfamiliar is this on him: complete and dominant CB. Okay, this was coming out of like the U20s, I believe, Worlds, one of these young tourneys. Strengths, tackling, passing, anticipation, positioning, aerial duels, and athleticism. Left-footed. Similar type to Sven Botman at the time is what he was said to be and whatnot. Potential, rated 8 out of 10 for potential. One player of that particular tournament. Again, I can't remember the details on the exact specific one, but dude, just as high a caliber prospect as Huijsen, if we're being honest about it. Just as high a prospect. He's getting great reviews coming out of camp, early days of camp. Nicolo Savona, you're going to hear that name repeatedly. He is getting good reviews. Adzic is getting good early reviews. All right, so this is the wild card too in all of this. What's going on with these guys come this season? I still don't see Facundo Gonzalez making it into the team. Okay, I want to hear more coming out of camp from Thiago Jallo. Okay, I want to see what goes on there. Locatelli is getting some good early on reviews. I told you I'm going to die on that hill. Okay, but I like what I'm hearing, and I'm going to stick to it and have faith that he's going to have a good season. But it is promising. It's exciting. And now we look forward to what's going to happen, okay? Now, Juve'S set to get the number 10. We've had a few discussions about this, okay?
Just a few.
Yeah, we had just a few discussions about this 10 thing. Yeah. Trim, Juve'S, 10.
I think it should stay vacant for a while. Until somebody earns it. Like, there were kind of murmurs that, oh, Sancho comes in, he'll get the 10. Like, to me, that's just that's even more stupid than giving it to Juve'S. Like, Juve'S at least has been here, but yeah, like, at the end of the day, if they end up giving it to him, we all know why. It's because jersey sales. They're going to make
Yeah.
a crap ton of money off of them and the jersey sales, and that's it. But the number 10 is a sacred number. It is what it is. We all know it. Only the special ones that have come through this club have worn it. So it's like, and I'm not saying that Yildiz isn't special, but I think he should just be playing a few more seasons under his belt, earn it a bit more, and then roll it out there.
Yeah.
That
Omer.
black kit.
Go ahead, Trip.
No, I was going to say that black kit behind me is a Pogba 10. We were hoping he was going to stay healthy, and look what happened with that. So, I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything about that number, like, I don't know what will. So I hope they hold off, but we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of don't touch it in the chat here. Omer, 10, Yildiz?
Yeah, of course it's don't touch it, and it's way too early. We've said it even before it was offered to Yildiz. We even said it about Pogba coming back and not getting it.
Yeah.
But I do get that shirt numbers in general has kind of lost its value. Like, what was the 10? Was the 10 a position or a special guy on the team? What was it? It was the best attacker in the team. Like, I don't know. I don't see any value to shirt numbers anymore. So yeah, it kind of sucks, and I wish they'd keep it on the side and just wait for the right guy to give it to him, and keep that as an incentive for players to trying to get it. But I don't think it's seen the way it used to be these days.
Yeah, we're too emotional. Get that bag, Juve. How about this? How about get even more of a bag when you build up the hype?
Yeah.
You think people are gonna stop buying Yildiz kits? You think people are like, it's still gonna sell 15 to 10, but if you build up that hype, let's say over a season, 2 seasons, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, we're ready to give you the 10, boom, boom. It's okay to make it feel special again rather than throwing it on just anybody. Guys that sign, that just jump in, 10, marketing. If Juve brought in Ferrari as a sponsor, you'd have marketing, instant marketing, and it wouldn't even matter about the number 10, okay? And then you build it up too. But it's also the fact that, and I will give credit to Justin, because he actually put it quite well in our discussion there. And he said, it's a kind of a sign of not acting like a club of their own magnitude, in a sense. And it's okay to want that to happen. But you know what? Hey, if he gets the 10, whatever. I just feel like why put more on a guy that really ultimately still has a lot of question marks around there? And if we're going to say get the bag, give him the 10, it's just a number, it's a 10, then I don't want to hear him talk about the weight of wearing the number 10, because he literally spoke to it himself. But he wants it, and Del Piero said, yeah, give it to him. That's great. But if you're going to treat it like just a marketing thing, then the players can't say that they feel the weight of donning that shirt, because then obviously it is not just a marketing ploy and they know what it actually means. So if you're saying marketing, that's denying that it actually means anything. If the players say they feel the weight and they understand what it means to the club, then it fucking means something. So you can't have it both ways. It either doesn't mean shit and it's a marketing ploy, or, okay, it means something. We need to act accordingly.
Okay, so just a question, not to entice you or anything. Did anyone have any issues with giving it to Tevez right away after Del Piero?
I did at the time. I did at the time. I was like, man, he's coming in instantly and getting the 10. I was like, whew. And I had questions about Tevez in general, but he proved me wrong. But it was still something that I was like, holy shit. Like,
No, I
just
was
coming in, signing and getting it?
I was actually kind of, confident that he's going to justify it, just because he was Tevez and he was a player with a lot of character and he already had a lot of mileage in him. I wasn't concerned that he's going to shame the shirt or whatever. But yeah, when it comes to like an 18-year-old youngster from NextGen, it kind of shifts. It's not the same. Like if you sign, I don't know, Bernardo Silva right now and give him the 10, I have no issues. I'll know he'll honor this shirt.
So we're going to get to Storm the Barns too, or whatever. I'm just going to get to one quick that just popped in here because it says, Storm the Barn, Coop deserves 10 more than Yildiz. I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do that.
Well, so one thing I just wanted to touch on, again, this may be controversial, but let's put all the Chiesa contract situation aside. Pretend it never happened. For me, I was always thinking he should have got the 10 and the 7 could have went to someone else. So
But
I
that's
was
the
always
thing.
thinking, yeah, but
That's the
and see
thing.
now,
The 7, since Ronaldo, the 7 kind of has more value than the 10.
right,
It's
right.
us who are holding out to the 10 because of the legends of the club. But to be honest, I think more kids are buying number 7 shirts than they do number 10s.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just this thing that I find it funny that there is this split there in terms of how everyone looks at it, but I find it funny when the players speak to the meaning of it. Then obviously there's more to it than just the marketing side. But you know, Juve's got to make money too, and I'm all about that bag. But let's spend it accordingly and let's keep strengthening the squad. All right, now Yildiz, I do. Hey, when we talk about the attack being thin and everything like that, I said I want him integrated and whatnot. And I'm not sure that some of the lineups out there that have Sule on one side, Yildiz on the other, is going to be strong enough throughout all the comps. I do have question marks about that, but everybody's looking at the situation differently, all right? All I know is his rookie cards are just booming right now, and I happily have many. So Yildiz, best of luck to you, my friend. Okay, let's fucking hit the ground running, okay? Now, let's get into some of these Storm the Barns. Should Coop have been brought in before Thuram? Thoughts on this one? Well, I don't think they could have, to be honest. Because if I'm looking at this, the move for Luis, I think you had to jump on. You had to jump on because Villa needs sales and you could potentially lose that. So they had to jump on that one. For Thuram, if the interest was the same that it was last summer when he was carrying the 50 roughly price tag, 50 mil price tag, being down around 2025 this summer, I don't think you should wait on that. So I'm going to stick to saying no, we shouldn't have with Coop because we have full agreement and everyone straight across the board in the media world has said Coop has given his yes and wants Juve. So I'm going to say no. Where are you guys on this one? We'll start with Omer.
Yeah, I think it's a tactical choice. I don't think we should have gone for Coop earlier because mainly Rabiot. I mean, the moves that Juve made are very tactical. These are very specific players that should complement each other in some way. And, well, Italian Football Podcast had an episode earlier this week with some French league expert. He was great, and it was a 45 minutes deep dive on Thuram, what to expect from him, and Todibo. That's it. So if you haven't listened to it, it's very interesting. When I listened to that, Thuram made a lot of sense in what he should be in this Juve setup. It's not exactly a Rabiot. It's not a goal machine. It's not even like a defensive solidity like Lucatelli. And we had to fill that type of role, the guy who covers grounds. Not grounds, spaces, dead spaces. That's where Thuram's strongest ability is. He reads the game very well and knows where to stand. And Luis is more of a creator, and what's his name, Coop Miners, is more of an attacking mid. And so it makes sense. I think it was an opportunity to get him for a low price. We already knew Coop wants Juve based on reports. and we don't know the situation around Thuram. If it wasn't Juve, it might have been someone else waiting at the door, and Juve had to, strike the iron when it's still hot. They did it. It didn't cost a lot of money, and they have some wiggle room now for Coop miners.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a very smart move, covering a position that we just lost someone in.
Yeah. Trim.
Yeah, for me, I'll keep it short and sweet. So I'll preface this by saying, obviously, Coop's been my number one target since the start of the Mercato. But what I will say is, no, he shouldn't have been the first purchase, because look at the value that Atalanta's trying to get out of him. They're trying to get 60 million euros. So if Juve continues to wait, they know they've got the upper hand on Atalanta because the player wants Juve. They have full agreement with the player. So the longer we wait this out, we're hoping the better the deal will be. I still believe, regardless of what the rumors say, at the end, when we do finalize the deal, I think it's going to be anywhere between 45 on the low end and 50 on the high end. I can't see Juve spending more than 50 on him.
And what should be noted here too, for anyone that may have missed it, is that Atalanta has signed Brescianini, who was listed as the alternative should they lose Coop, right? So they've got that signing done. It's finalized as of like 2 or 3 days ago. So we got to have that in the back of our heads too, that they've already kind of done that and haven't waited or whatnot. So it's kind of interesting to look at and think of, and just adds more to this ongoing thing with Coop. But for me, there are some getting a little concerned, getting worried. I don't see Giuntoli missing out on Coop miners. I feel it's going to go down. It's just getting everything in order, because where we're at now is a domino effect, and it definitely, each move impacts immediately the next following. Right now, it's a sale. Right now, the focus is on a sale. We could see it. You could see it day in, day out right now. It's who is going to be that piece that funds Coop miners. And then from there, we look to Toribo, and then I think we sort out what's going on up top. So we'll see.
So let's make it different. Like, where do Juve need players right now? 4 positions that Juve must buy during this summer.
Well, it's the same, really. It has been the whole way through. We needed several midfielders. We will have that. I still say you need Coop. You need a fullback. You need help in the attack. You need a winger. Yeah. You need a mid still, and you need that fullback, and you need help in attack. You could argue center back too still.
So not Cruz, sorry. I wish. Coop miners crosses off the midfield. Yeah. Right? Once that's done, we can let the midfield go. Let's go back. Where's what do we want to see in the fullback position?
Gadiolu from Fenerbahce at 20 million.
Yeah.
That's your boy, Omer.
Yeah, I really hope it happens. The links have been like, not any strong links right now. I hope it happens. Couto, the guy from City, and the guy you mentioned earlier, Savona. Apparently, according to Mirko, he's someone that's very highly rated by Motta, and we might see a lot from him. So anyone who wants to check him out, Savona from NextGen. Apparently, Motta likes him, and we're going to see more of him this season at fullback.
Wild card in all of this, Jallo can play fullback on left and right side as well.
And that's what I think we'll see. I think Jallo will start the season as left back.
Yeah. People might get concerned about what does that do for Cambiasso. Absolutely nothing. Cambiasso will play right side potentially. Like, there's a lot of versatility on the team, which I don't think enough people are talking about. That's going to help Thiago Motta. Cambiasso versatile from left to right. Thiago Jallo anywhere across a back four. I actually believe Gatti will serve dual purpose for Motta. Danilo could play in a center back role or an outside. That's going to be big. And if you look at the midfielders, Luiz has versatility. Fagioli has versatility. Coop Miners, should we land him? Versatility. Like, that is going to be massive for Thiago Motta as a coach, especially a guy that likes to, depending on the opponent, switch up between two setups, and he will have that versatility. I love it. I love it, to
Yeah,
be honest. So
I
it's good
think the
things to
only
look at.
anchor I think the only anchor will be Bremer, and everything around him will shift
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
I don't think constantly,
Not constantly,
but
but we'll see
there
a lot
will
of
be.
setups around
Yeah.
Bremer.
Yeah. Malta's very methodical about how he goes about playing certain opponents and everything. So it'll be interesting to see who are the potential candidates for Dušan's backup. Well, it was Morata was a name. You know, we've heard stuff that didn't seem to make sense. Retegi, you know, with a high price tag. Like you're starting to get Tammy Abraham shouts and whatnot. I'll be quite honest. There's not a lot really that's like, okay, he's coming in. He is definitely going to be that backup. This is kind of completely up in the air at this point in time because Milik, according to reports, has been told he's out of the project. So I don't really know what's going to go on there, but potential candidates. Did I miss anybody, Trim?
I was just gonna say I've only, but loosely, and not by the big guys. So that's why I don't really put too much stock into it. But I've loosely heard the rumors about Armando Broja, I think the Albanian striker, as a potential vice to
Mhm.
Vlahovic. But even that, like how much stock can I put into it if I haven't really heard the big boys mention him, right? So I know he's been kind of loosely put out there because they said that Juventus scouts were watching him play during the Euro, and I forget where he plays. I think he plays in the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken.
He's in Chelsea.
There you go. So, and that could be another reason why, because he plays for Chelsea and they've got about 700 players on their roster, so they need to ship out some guys, right? But him
Yeah.
specifically, I haven't watched enough of him. So, to be honest, I was going to mention this in the previous question too about Omar mentioned about where should our focus be. Has to be the attack, like wings plus a backup to Dusan, because if we're not keeping Milik, which I don't know, I mean, I would almost argue, wouldn't it have been smarter to just keep him around for another year because he's been solid? But I understand, like maybe it's the tactical fit. Clearly, is just not there with Motta.
And I'm with
Right?
you, and I'm with some of these comments here. Like we see this one from Giratina70. Why can't Milik be that? The disrespect to him, he was a competent vice. He actually, his style of play, the way he played the position last season, actually makes sense for Motta if he's going to be a vice to Vlahovic. And I see that argument, but there are many, many that are just very underwhelmed with Milik, Keane, and just want both out and whatnot. But again, if it's getting this skinny for alternatives, you do have to raise the question, and we're not going to be able to move a complete overhaul on a roster. And it is decent to have some veteran presence. I can understand the shouts there for keeping Milik, but right now we need some more. We need some more in terms of the alternatives. I need to hear more names, right? I'm fine with whatever they decide. This is another thing. Thiago Motta. Ultimately, let's see what he decides. This is the interesting thing about Sule too, because we were hearing that Motta was going to make the ultimate decision, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, boom, no, like it's happening. We're playing Moneyball right now. I've been saying this for, a week and a half. It's Moneyball out there. And each move affecting the next, you got to have a little bit of sacrifice to go. And it just shows you what their priorities are. And I think right now it's clear as day. Coop is top right now. It's going to be whatever it takes to bring them in, right? So we'll see. But candidates outside of that, not very strong. Who are some young players to look out for this season from NextGen? Omer, want to hit this? I got some names.
Yes, so Mirko mentioned that Luis Hassa is probably the most talented one out of the bunch right now in next gen, and I guess we'll see him because of the shortage of players in attack. We signed what's that guy's name? Comenancia last season. He also had, they spoke very highly about him. Maybe we'll see some more of him, although he's a central midfielder, so I don't know how much. Savona, we mentioned. Juve have signed a few more players. I've just seen they've signed a new fullback from Austria to the next gen. But a lot of players left. It's like, it's funny to say a generation switch. Like all of the names that we've been hearing about for the past, I don't know, 2 3 years, they're all kind of moved on. Like going even back to Frabotta and Dragoshin and all those names we were expecting to see and getting promoted, they have all moved on. So we'll get a bunch of names. I don't want watch the next gen as much as I would have liked to, so I can't speak to their abilities. But just based on rumors of guys that do watch it, those are the main names: Savona, Hassa, Comenancia, and maybe a few others.
Yeah. And those are really the names. Like Omar hit it right on the head. The interesting thing with Hassa is going to be that contract scenario, but hopefully we can get that going because he's got massive, massive potential and whatnot. You guys will remember, obviously, last season he got called up for a couple of sessions due to injuries and stuff, and we were all hoping he would get some minutes and you could see him in some top flight action. Unfortunately, never happened. There was an opportunity where we were all cursing Max for not putting him in there because we did have a comfortable lead in one of those games, and it was like, get him some minutes. Like, let's just see. Is what it is. But Hassa, I really hope we sort things out there. Let's see. Let's keep it moving with some of these. We've got Forza U coming in here with Sule and Chiesa potentially leaving. One of the clubs monitoring Fede being Bayern Munich. Would you go for Kingsley Coman and a return of Kingsley Coman? A lot of rumors about Bayern selling him now that they got Olise. Would I do it? It's definitely not bad by any means if Chiesa is going to bring in Coman the other way. I'd probably... I'm not huge on it now, as I would have probably a couple of years back, but I'm not totally against it. I'm kind of indifferent. Again, it would depend on what our alternatives are, right? Right now, for how it is, I probably would take Coman right now, looking at what the possibilities are, to be honest. But what do you guys think about this question from Forza Juve? Trim?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think he played sparingly last year because I think he was coming off injury. So he did get into a few games, but he had an injury. We know what we had in the player. Obviously, we had him once upon a time, and then he left so quickly and produced wherever he went. I know that Bayern's got options in terms of looking at sales. Like they've got interest in moving on from him, and also Serge Gnabry. So even him, he's a pretty intriguing name. Gnabry can play across the top as well. But yeah, just going off of what you're saying, like in terms of what are the options right now, he might be someone that we could consider. But I think for now, I would say no, and I would hold off. Like if we had to choose between him and Gnabry, I'd maybe be more interested in the Serge Gnabry. Based on overall output lately. So yeah, I would say no right now.
All right. Omer, your thoughts on that?
I don't know. There's something very off about him. Like he played 27 matches last season.
Yeah.
So he's not the first name on Bayern's starting 11. It's not a lot for a club who plays like 60 matches a season. He's relatively injury prone. He even lost his place in the French team. Like he had in total, I'm looking at it now, 15 minutes in these Euros. I don't know. I think it's a bit of a gamble injury wise. Same goes for Gnabry. I think they are very good players. I don't know if they're past their best. Maybe they're past their best and they're very injury prone. But still, it might be a good signing. I don't know. No, if I can say I would like Berardi on the roster, then I can definitely say I would like Koeman on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I mean, there's a little bit of skepticism kind of around and whatnot, but overall, again, I can't help but look at the targets out there and think I would probably take it. But let's see. Let's see what goes down. We're going to keep things rolling a bit here. Bino coming in here. Did Coop deal become harder after missing out on Calafiori? I think this is going to be unanimous no. I think it's as difficult as it's always been. It's just one of those ones I think that's going to take time. I don't think it became any more difficult than it already was. It's a high price tag. It's going to be one of those things. So, yeah. Will Locatelli be a starter next season from Sweaty? In one of Motta's setups, I will say yes. When he chooses to go 4-1-4-1, when he chooses like a 4-2-3-1, I actually think you'll see Locatelli start a decent amount of games in that setup. When he goes 4-1-4-1, that's when I don't think you'll see Locatelli on the pitch. What do you guys think?
So based on the players we're linked to and the players we have right now in the roster, I don't think Motta is aiming too much for wingers. Looking at our roster, the diamond formation seems the most logical, and in that formation, he definitely has a room. If he can be like the defensive midfielder he was, and then Thuram to the left, Luiz to the right, and Coop above them, seems logical to me. I don't know if we'll see it. I have no idea, but it seems like it's the best way to go, considering the players we have right now.
Yeah, Trim, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to say to touch on that. Like, I agree with both your points. I would say he'll probably start as a rotational piece, but depending on the matches, I think it really gives Motta flexibility. And this is why our midfield is the strength of our team right now. Adding Coop will just solidify it that much more, and it gives us so many options. But 4-2-3-1, he could easily play in the double pivot role. But I think, like I said, I think the plan is to kind of rotate between him, Thuram, and Luiz in terms of who's starting each game and each match, and then who will be ultimately the sub that comes in.
Yeah. Well put, fellas. Omer, do you have something?
No, I think Motta likes Nicolosi Caviglia as well, so there's a lot of room for Miretti, Fagioli, and Caviglia as well.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have healthy rotation in the midfield, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think there's gonna be what we were seeing with certain guys having that guaranteed spot. Rabiot, I'm looking at you, buddy, and
who?
It looks like a goodbye to Adrian.
Well, he's officially not a Juve player right now.
And to be fair, Locatelli kind of fell victim to that too. There was definitely some times I was calling to see Caviglia in there too, but I think it's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be different where positions are earned and fought for. That is one of the little things being hinted at too. With Motta, early days, of course, time will tell. Let's see what happens. Let's try machine gun through some of these. I knew Adam was going to bring up Mats Hummels. Obviously, joke. He said you could skip the question, whatnot. Hey, it could be something given what happens. Obviously, Todibo, I like the Todibo deal and everything, but I'm not against Hummels. And our friend who actually created the name Storm the Barn, all right, Peter Balistreri. He doesn't get to make the live shows, unfortunately. There's a hell of a time difference with us and our Aussie friends and whatnot, but he actually brought this up, and he was, we were chatting throughout Euros and everything, and he said, on this free agent list, like, who are the names that you'd even be interested in? And I said 2 names, Memphis Depay and Hummels, and that's it out of like the entire free agent list for this summer. Those were the only 2 I would actually probably consider. Forwards, there was Martial, Memphis Depay, Pepe, and Lamela. Midfielders, you had Marco Reus, Sergio Roberto. Defenders, you had Varane, Hummels, Vasquez, Aurier, Alonso, and Kurzawa. And I said for me, it's Hummels and Depay. That's it. What about you guys out of that list?
That sounds like a great team in 2015.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like Hummels a lot. I wouldn't mind him. The rest are just, I mean, Rafa Silva was my guy, but he already went off to Saudi Arabia. So, yeah, none of the names do for me. Even Depay, I'm maybe because we need depth a bit, but I'm not impressed by him. I think he's way past his best, and his best was never good enough anyway.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Dorgu. That's a name we forgot about at fullback, and apparently Juve is looking at loan with option to purchase. I'd be up for that one too, actually.
I like that one.
To be
I like
honest.
that one a lot.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
go
why not?
above Kodioglu, obviously, from Fenerbahce. However, I'd be okay with Dorgu coming in as some support system. We talked about some of the possibilities we could see at fullback. What about, from Swari, Rabiot and McKennie? McKennie will be a difficult... Yeah, hey, I said it from the get-go when that thing fell apart. McKennie he did himself a major disservice by not taking that Villa move. And we're seeing that now. The latest I heard was it might be MLS, to be honest, with McKennie. Miami was rumored to be a potential spot, but he really he fucked things up for himself, I think, not taking that Villa move. Easily the best he was going to see. So, yeah, it's going to be tough now because I don't think he's going to get a team to the caliber he friggin' expects. Like, there was not going to be a club better than Villa coming in for the guy. That's what blows me away. I don't know. That's a tough one. For Rabiot, he is a free agent. He is not a Juventus player. So that growth decree is gone. The deadline is past, everybody. I don't see it happening anymore because now they're saying Giuntoli's definitely not even going to go to the number we could have before. So, see you later. And I'm cool. I'm cool with it. Yeah. Now, we get to the real stuff. Trim, what's the workout plan? Okay, those sleeves, little toit there on that kit there. Justin B wants to know what it is. 300 curls every morning with an espresso or what?
Well, he bought it 13 years ago.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, just grew into it.
Just going to say, do you want to know the trick, fellas? It's you buy a size lower than what you normally are. So if you're a medium, you got to buy a small and go from there.
There you go. What's everyone's favorite comfort meal? So unhealthy, but makes you so happy.
Oh, man. That's tough for someone who loves food. Jeez.
Comfort meal. Okay. You know what? Poutines are just amazing. I will say they're not good for you whatsoever, but god damn it, I love a good poutine. For the French people, is poutine, whatever the hell you want to call it, okay? But poutine, oh yeah. For sure. What do we got? Pizza, lasagna. All right.
Yeah, I'm not getting fat.
Nobody will ever tell me pizza's not good for you, by the way. Okay, so I'm not even going to accept that answer. Pizza's great for you.
Yeah, I have no moderation in what food I eat. I eat all the junk I can because I don't get fat. Like, I still have abs and I haven't done a sit-up in like 10 years. And so yeah, pizza is my number one, but mainly I eat whatever the fuck I want. I don't budge.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
To be a little bit different, I'll go like off the board because I mean, Italian food is Italian food. We'll always love it. That's our heritage. So I'll go a little off the board. For me lately, it's been Mexican food. That's like always my go-to. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about it. Burritos, tacos, carne asada, all that kind of stuff. It's just a good Mexican meal, man. It can never go wrong. So I'll go with
Sometimes Mexican. I like the frustration of a nice hard shell taco with the shit getting everywhere, whatever. Like sometimes I like to put myself through that. Okay. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Now we got a couple more and then I've got a big announcement, everybody. All right, let's see what we can do here. Don't you think, this from Harit here, we have a heavy bias for Italian players. Don't get me wrong. I love Italian players. They are a lot more loyal, but I have seen some crazy stuff like Chiesa is better than Juve'S. Sancho, etc. Well, number one, I think you'll see bias from all fans in many different directions based on how your opinion stands, how you feel, etc. But yeah, there can be a little bit more of a bias for Italian players. However, I don't think it's actually that crazy to say Chiesa is better than Yildiz. I think it's completely different. If I look at last season, I still think Chiesa is far more dangerous, the player, to have in your lineup than Yildiz. So I can understand people saying that. I could still understand people saying that Chiesa is better than Sancho. And I've said throughout this entire period, I think it's best for both parties if Chiesa and Juve renew, especially given the alternatives. But guys, do you see a heavy bias for Italian players?
Just from us fans of Juve, I think it's more hope than bias. We really want Italian players to succeed at Juve because that's the heritage of Italian football and of the Italian national team. But to be honest, the talent pool is very weak right now. But still, if we're like going for someone to bolster the attack, and we're looking for wingers, I would love it if you would go after Willy Gnonto from Leeds. I think it'd be great, and the fact that he's Italian is even adding some sauce in there. But we can't have an Italian team with half of the table don't want to sell us Italian players anyway. So I don't have any bias. I just get whoever wins us trophies.
I want to get Trim's thoughts, and then I just want to add something to this. So Trim, is there a heavy Italian bias? Do you see?
It depends on the person. So for me, I wouldn't say that there's a huge Italian bias. Sure, would I love a Juventus team full of Italians? Yes, but Omer literally just took the words right out of my mouth with everything. Like, our talent pool is just not where it is. I mean, look at Italy in the previous big tournaments and this past Euro. Like, we don't have those players anymore. They've kind of moved on. So now it's up to the national team to develop the next generation of young talent. Then we'll see moving forward. Like, within NextGen, we've got some Italians coming up through the ranks, so that's exciting. But just as an overall, I don't care where you're from, what your passport says. Just if you want to play for Juve and you're a good player, I want you at Juve and to play at Juve. Sure, like I said, what Italians mixed in.
Here's an interesting question for you. Where would the Italian national team finish in Serie A, in your opinion, with like the best talents in Italy? The team that we saw right now in the Euros, does it win Serie A?
That's a good question. Well, so like, what I want to ask a question to you is like let's say they're playing like the Juventus of right now, but minus Chiesa because he'd be on the national team, I guess. Is that what you're trying to say? Like, where would they finish in the rankings?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. I would say middle of the pack.
Allegedly the best Italian players right now.
Yeah.
Does anyone think they're winning the Scudetto?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Top four side, maybe.
Yeah, I would say middle of the pack, between 4 and 8 on the low end. I would say
and that says it all.
Yeah,
I'm going to switch it up because I feel like when we're looking at our players on our roster throughout a season, I feel like this Italian bias comes into when fans feel like certain guys are getting protected or overhyped. You know, your Locatellis, your Morettis, your Fagiolis, your Cambiasos, I feel like they feel they're getting protected because they're Italian, etc. I don't actually feel that way. And I don't feel the Italian players get overhyped because they're Italian. I look at Yildiz is a prime example. Sule is another example. Like, we get excited for young talents. Huijsen is not Italian. We have many saying he's untouchable. I feel like the hype, it follows young guys. I feel like there's this new thing going on in football right now that we almost want to force something. It feels like everybody wants their own, and you watch the Spanish league that does it, and their national team is thriving off these young guys getting in there at this age and whatnot. It's like we want the exact same thing, and we feel like we need these guys to do it, whatnot. I'm at the exact same point I've always been. The next gen will be a cash cow for Juventus, okay? It's not something to be doom and gloom about. It's still going to be amazing, but if we get things right, only the elite should come in. Bias towards Italian players, protecting them maybe too much in our roster, I don't know, because I can't even really say that. Miretti took so much flack, and deservedly so. You know, Locatelli took a ton of heat. These are Italian guys. Cambiaso got hyped up, pumped up a lot. Maybe not fair to say rightfully so, but like, yeah, he was good. He was good. But he definitely had his moments. There could be potentially a little too much hype around Cambiaso. Yildiz got hyped up to hell and honestly didn't do a whole lot. So I don't think it's an Italian thing.
We've been starved of talent for quite a long time. So we're just hanging on to whoever has one or two good performances.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, being hopeful as a fan is fine. That's what gets you going. Once in 10 years, you get it right. Like, I'm super excited right now for Thuram, mainly because I've been on his ass for like 2.5, 3 years, and I actually can't believe Juve managed to sign him, especially after last summer where his price skyrocketed to like, what was it, 60 million they wanted for him. And I'm really, really hoping he'll do great things, but that might be my personal bias because I thought he was going to develop into a great player. We'll wait and see. And I will hold on to him longer than other players that I don't like.
Yeah. Di Gregorio better not fucking flop, because I named him when everyone was naming Carnesecchi. So he's kind of like my guy that I got to ride or die with now. You better not let me down. And I actually
the only reason I wasn't all for Di Gregorio is because I thought he was never going to come to Juve. He's an Inter graduate, he's an Inter fan, and they were just having Sommer in for one season. I thought they were going to go on Di Gregorio like full stop. He's going to be an Inter player. The fact that we managed to sign him.
People make mistakes. They learn from it. You know, Di Gregorio understood where he needs to go. Lilian Thuram made an error, and that's why he corrected it by having another son, because he fucked up with the first one. All right, so you know,
isn't that awesome? The Thuram rivalry between Juve and Inter.
It's gonna be good, and we all know who Lilian's gonna be cheering for. Come on.
Yeah,
we know where he's going to be cheering for. Is there a player you guys strongly believe in that others don't? For me, it is Miretti. I fully believe in him. I'm Locatelli, and I believe we see a completely different Locatelli. But Miretti, I'm not in full belief of him, but I've been pushing the stance of not losing him outright if we don't have to, before I see him go out there and get a loan somewhere in Serie A. But I still believe in Locatelli. I still do.
Mm-hmm. Gatti for me.
There you go.
Gatti,
there you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know what? It's funny. I got to actually go with Tarps there. You know, not because he's my cousin, but just I've been on that Miretti train too, actually. Like I've always thought he's solid, and you know, even dating back to this past year when everybody's like wanting to just outright sell, I've always maintained just send him on a loan. Like we saw what it did for Fagioli. I really think that there is a player there, like Matteo's mentioning. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Miretti.
Yeah, there you go. Now, would you like Ferrari as a sponsor? I would love it, and I think shirt sales are going to... Listen, we've talked about this a bunch when there was speculation and everything. Okay, it makes so much sense from the corporate family, okay? That's one. Number two, literally the color possibilities with the two brands, but the merchandise, you would sell so much product of even just random things, but like apparel that combined Juve and Ferrari would go absolutely AWOL in sales. I understand the club not wanting to take out of one pocket to put in the other, but my God, I can't see them still not coming out way, way out in front by making that happen. I still can't see it just not overall smashing as far as the collaborations, the products, the merch, the F1. The F1 world has skyrocketed over the past few years too. To have Juve involved in that in one way too and get branded through that as well. It's almost a no-brainer to me. But I understand
That's
the outside money thing.
that's why I think, like, if it was an option, a concrete option, it would have already happened. That's why I think there's no chance, at least this season. Apparently, I don't know what's Calvo doing right now. He's kind of disappeared off the radar. We don't see him in training. So you were saying he's in the US looking for sponsorship deals.
He
I
was
hope he
well,
gets.
he was in Saudi too. It's Calvo.
Yeah,
Calvo's main task has been the sponsorship.
yeah. I hope he gets like Marvel, like something way out of the blue, Disney, whatever you want. And yeah, but besides that, I have no idea what are the options even out there right
Yeah,
now. Amazon was rumored, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon was picking up a little steam there. I was always like kind of skeptical of it. We'll see. I have no idea. All I know though is that the kits are in retailers' hands. They've been there since end of May. Canada Post, another day and another day, all right? Because you're getting this one because those sons of bitches, I made a deal and I have all three of the kits with no sponsors. Were supposed to be here yesterday, okay? You want to hear about a situation? I'll tell you about this situation, okay? I get a notification that they reach my town, my city, okay? They're in the destination city yesterday morning, 8 a.m. 8:05 a.m. It is updated. They have left for destination. Beautiful. Expected arrival between 8 a.m. to noon. Perfect. Get home after work, open up the mailbox. Sweet fuck all. What?
Bats.
What? I check the updates. It's in Edmonton, Alberta. So, for those of you not familiar with the geography, okay, they left the town I live in, the destination, and went to a whole nother province, okay? A drive that is like, fuck, they got there at 9 p.m. or something the next time it updated me in Edmonton. Anyways, all three kits will be in my hands early next week. All right. And then I'll show them to all you guys. But without sponsor, I had to. Because I'm sure we'll get the same situation with the kit tarps or not tarps, trim is where it'll get a sponsor through the season. So I had to get them while they had no sponsor, and then we'll go. But the third kit's actually not to be released for quite some time, but there are North American retailers that have them, all right? And some have already put them on the shelf. I'm not going to tell you who, but just take a look. Take a look around. But I'm excited. That third kit too, holy hell. I finally saw a good image, and not from these knockoff ones that they were putting around a lot, whatever. Like I saw from a retailer like a just true on snapshot of it. It is phenomenal. Okay. So the DNA, the J DNA with all those little J logos on there, literally can't even tell they're on there, and will just reflect when the light hits. So like it is clean. Very excited. But Canada Post, Yeah. Again. Double day for you, okay? Guys, I had a big announcement. We're going to share, then we're going to talk about the finals, okay? Because we got Copa America, we got Euro finals, okay? But
Wait, just an update
put the
from
gun
Mirko
down.
Nicolino. Sorry, that's my gun. Sula to Leicester from Mirko Nicolino is very hot right now. There's an agreement between the player. The clubs are arguing over 6 to 7 million difference right now. That could be mitigating bonuses, and that's it. So Mirko Nicolino is a very solid guy. So it's actually happening.
Wow.
That's big, you guys. That's big. Like I said, I don't know if it should be the first, but they've got a list of guys they're okay moving, and Sule, it appears, is one. I don't feel confident about it without knowing what the hell is happening with Fede Chiesa. So
he's staying.
It sounds like
his leverage goes through the roof if Sule's sold. So, hey, Fede, it's back. It's back in your hands. A little bit more of the power, all right?
Yeah.
Now, the announcement. We've tried ramping up engagement and everything, and we want to get all the AJC Army as involved as possible. So coming up this week, we are partnering up with a new outfit, all right? What does this mean? Well, I'm not going to even tell you who it is. Just stay tuned because the full unveil will come out through our socials, okay? There will be a welcoming video and everything, but it is going to be a platform that we have been asked to partner with, and what it is going to be is AJC Extra, okay? So we're still obviously going to deal with Juve, but it is going to be even a more broad Serie A type experience, but the availability for all of you to get involved in call-ins and come even join us on stage through video is going to be flawless, seamless. It's going to be amazing, all right? So we're happy to be asked to partner up, all right? And again, look for that full unveil coming out very, very soon. But this is really going to kick things up and add a whole lot. So we're looking at lives, probably impromptu lives around big news that you can even get involved in. Like I said, you could do it from the comfort of your phone just by the click of a button and actually be able to jump in and discuss things with us. And like I said, if you're not comfortable on the stage in video form, you could do it on audio and still take part in all the shows. This is going to be massive for us. And like I said, Serie A roundtable shows with other fans coming into the mix throughout the season, recapping the action on Sunday evenings, etc. Time zones, we're going to be able to do more live shows and hit more time zones. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're very, very excited for that one, okay? So stay tuned. That's going to drop very, very soon, all right? And hopefully when it does...
one final question.
What?
I have one final question.
Okay, just hang on a sec. Hopefully when it does, you guys all jump in and look for that and jump aboard and follow. You'll be asked to join our AJC Extra room, okay? So look for that one. Omer.
Okay, so we all saw the video of Pesotto and Thuram and calling him Zio and stuff. And in general, there's been some interesting videos that Motta and Juntri going out to the fans outside. That was great. Loved seeing it. But the question I had was, what does Pesotto do? I mean, it clearly works for Juve, and I have no idea what's his role with the club. He's been there for a long time. He's always in the bleachers and stuff, and suddenly it hit me. I have no idea what his role with the club is.
I actually think he's part of like not part of like I guess you could call it like an integration team. And I think he has to do with like like newcomers, etc., and like setting up and even player exchanges, like when that happens. I'm pretty sure that's his role, but I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure he's part of like an integration team.
Okay, interesting.
I could be completely wrong, but I think that's what it is. Don't hold me to that. If anybody knows, Obviously, let us know in the comments to this video when it drops and whatnot. I'd love to know 100%. I was always under the assumption that's kind of what it was, but I don't know 100%. But Pesotto, that was cool. Tio Pesotto,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And Uncle Pat, speaking of Tio's, Uncle Pat.
Oh,
Not true, okay, what we heard about him going to prison and everything. His video in response, though, was actually quite funny. So if you see that in the orange jumpsuit, in handcuffs playing basketball, in classic Uncle Pat fashion, he responds and says it's completely, obviously, all bullshit, all right? But Uncle Pat, still, you should have cleared that fucking ball, all right? But I still love you. Now, that wraps things up, but we got to talk about the finals. Copa America. Guys, who's your winner in Copa America?
Argentina.
Argentina?
Yeah, still the same from last week.
Argentina.
Yeah.
And in the Euros, who will prevail? Omer's Spain in the ride or die, or Lucci's English side? Cole saying Colombia, and you know what? I feel like Colombia could do it.
I hope.
Spain,
It would be nice.
Spain.
It would be nice to see, but
I am actually going to agree with Tarps and Cole. I'm going Colombia and Spain.
yeah.
I think Colombia pulls it off, and I think Spain get the job done. I think Spain's been the best playing side in the Euros the entire time. England still have a shot. They're finding ways, which is all you really need to do. But Spain is they just look really, really good and have looked and their path has been so difficult that I think they're just ready. Like I'd be surprised if they don't find a way.
That will be like the first big team England meets all tournament.
Right. Yeah.
And Spain has already been through like Germany, Italy, Croatia, France, and someone else I don't even remember, Albania.
Yeah.
Like they've sort of kicked out all the teams that were slated to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they're favorites, but still it's a final. Anything can happen. Penalty, a red card, and everything shifts. So
especially in Copa America. Like, hey, the officiating. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, yeah.
Whoa. But
don't have a fight with the fans. I mean, we're hoping there wouldn't be any fighting with the fans.
Oh, that was just wild. And Bielsa afterwards.
Yeah, he was going all out.
Yeah.
And he's been right about everything he said.
Yeah. Bielsa was right 100%. I mean, that just can't happen. The stadiums and how it all unfolded, the lack of control, like it was bad. That was bad. I did learn a couple things. There's not too many Uruguayans I would feel comfortable with in a bar room. Should something break out, they need to learn how to throw a punch. Okay. Yeah. So Uruguay, good on the pitch, but Jesus, learn how to throw some punches. Nunez got popped by, I think the guy was said to be a priest in Colombia. They put out I don't know if it was real or not, looked like the exact same guy. They said he was a priest in real life, like in Colombia there. And I'm like, oh my God, man. Anyways, they need to learn how to swing over there in Uruguay. But
those were horrible scenes, and I feel sorry for
it was terrible. It was terrible. The fact that it was their families and their kids, and that's what he was kind of getting at, is like protecting the families. That's scary stuff. We can obviously think about something we always pay homage to, and that is what happened at Hazel, and thinking about, people going to watch a game or not actually being able to return. Like, if it gets to that extent, that's scary stuff. So, Bielsa was 1,000% right. But, guys, on that note, the finals will be tomorrow. Okay, Canada, though, playing third place today. Trim, we getting third place?
I don't think so. I want to hope for the best, but I don't know.
Uruguay's a good team. They're going to be fired up too after all that, whatever. But you know what?
Yeah, and I don't know if there was any suspensions handed out. It doesn't sound like it, so it looks like they'll have their full team. So
a little bit of I like what Marsh is doing, and this could still be a big pick me up for Canada. So I think think it could be a tight one, but still be tough for them. The finals tomorrow, Eurocopa. Enjoy, everybody. I'll keep you in the loop on all of the Juve news, the live chat. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for the announcement on the new partnership, all right? Because we're going to want to see you all over there following us. And again, it doesn't take anything away from what we're doing on YouTube. YouTube will be strictly Juve, but AJC Extra will be Juve and more. All right? So we look forward to seeing you there. As always, enjoy your weekends. It's fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti. Take care.
Yeah.